Actually Nay, and yes, I am back with another video for you guys. If you have not read the title yet, I will be talking about the dental hygiene program. I've gotten so many questions regarding the program that I'm currently attending and questions about being a dental hygiene student, so my goal is to cover all of your questions in this video. However, if you have more questions or additional questions after this video, go ahead and put them down in the comment section and I will answer them as well. I also want to make this very brief and straight to the point because y'all know I like to talk and I'm not going to talk your ears off today. So let's go ahead and get started. So what program am I in? I am currently in the dental hygiene program at the University of Michigan School of Dentistry, #1 dental school in the world. Whoop, whoop. It is a Bachelor of Science degree program, so you will walk out with your bachelor's degree, and it is also a 3-year program, so that means we got the summers off. However, they just recently transitioned to a 2-year program to where you will be going to school all year round for 2 years straight. However, I've been still part of the 3-year program, so I have to do 3 years. Next, I want to talk about the prereqs and the requirements to apply to the program. So you need at least 35 credit hours already when you apply or by the time you submit your application. This can include your prereq hours, but it may or may not need some additional classes to reach that 35 credit mark. I will also list the different prereqs that you need to apply, which are, drum roll, General Chemistry 1, Intro to Psychology, Intro to Sociology, Anatomy and Physiology 1 and 2, and let me make this clear, y'all have to have them separate, meaning that they have to be 1 and 2. You cannot take a combined course or they will not accept it. Just letting y'all know. Microbiology, Biochemistry, Speech, English Composition, and General Biology. So it looks like General Biology is a suggested course now rather than a requirement, but I actually believe that it was a requirement when I applied to the 3-year program. Next up, I want to talk about tuition. Everybody wants to know how much a program costs because that'll make or break whether you do the program or not. I'm telling you, because I was worried about going here too. I'm just going to be completely honest because I thought it was going to be $1 zillion and I was not going to be able to afford it. So how much does the program cost? So from my experience and me trying to add up numbers, it's going to be an estimate. I don't know the exact amount tuition. It kind of differentiates or whatnot every single year. So roughly it looks like it was about $55,000 for the whole program for all 3 years. So roughly it was about $8,000 to $9,000 per semester. So say it was maybe $10,000 a semester times 6, that's about $60,000. So a little under $60,000 is what I believe the tuition is. Compared to other schools, I honestly think that it's not that bad. Like I said, compared to the other schools that I've toured before. Luckily for me though, they have this thing called Go Blue Guarantee at the University of Michigan where if your parents make under a certain amount of money, then they will help you pay your tuition. So my tuition was paid for in scholarships and grants.
It's safe to say I earned it. Whoa, yeah.
Next, I want to talk about courses in the program and our class schedule. As I'm talking, I'm also going to be listing the courses I had each semester over here so that you guys can also get a visual as I'm talking. So we took about 6 to 7 courses a semester. I'm not sure how that is comparing to other schools or community colleges or other universities that have the program, but we did take 6 to 7 courses, y'all. So it was way more than I usually take, I will say that. As far as the load of courses, I will say that they were a lot more heavier during the first 2 years of the program, especially the first year of the program, y'all. The first year of the program I thought was like boot camp, which in reality it probably was. It was boot camp. But we literally had classes at 8 in the morning to 5 o'clock in the afternoon every single day, Monday through Friday for that whole year. So it was very intense as far as courses. So the second year we had, again, it was kind of close to this same schedule with 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. However, we had clinic and rotations added in that time. So it wasn't as much courses, but it wasn't as much time spent in courses. We had the same amount of courses, but class time was reduced due to rotations and clinic. And then the third year, which is your senior year, would probably be your lightest year. The first semester you are full-time, and then the second semester you are not full-time. However, I am full-time my last semester because I need to satisfy requirements for financial aid. So yeah, so senior year is actually more so rotations in clinic rather than class. We only have class on Mondays, and then the rest of the week is like rotation in clinics, and everybody has different rotation schedules, which I will also talk about later on in this video. So next I want to talk about rotations. I've been getting a lot of questions about rotations because I feel like it's not very common that a lot of the dental hygiene programs actually have rotations incorporated in their program. So I feel like that is unique to the program that I am in. Basically, rotations are sites where it helps you build your clinical, patient, and interprofessional skills in a realistic setting. So basically what we do at these sites kind of depends on where we're going, and I will leave a list here of the different sites that we go to. It may include ortho, perio, radiology, elementary schools, free to low or no cost dental clinics, and yeah, so it kind of just varies all over. The things that we do at these rotations, so we do various things as provide sealants, put on fluoride. We do cleanings actually at the free to low cost dental clinics. We also observe, we assist, we remove sutures, for an example, in perio on real patients. So it really just varies. I actually love rotations. I do feel like it does give you really good experience. And yeah. So lastly, I want to talk about clinic. Clinic is for us 2 times a week for 3 hours each day. Compared to other programs, I do think that is a little less or maybe equivalent. I'm not quite sure. I do feel like we could benefit for a little bit more time in clinic. However, it is shared with the dental students at the school. So sometimes clinic time can be limited. As far as our requirements, we have a list of requirements every single semester in our clinical course that we have to finish. Otherwise, we will not proceed to the next course. We have to basically finish them in the next semester, and then you can start doing the requirements for that next course after you finish the previous ones. So as far as getting patients, typically we would either bring in our own patients that we recruit, or we would get our patients from the dental students. Now, speaking of working with the dental students, I do believe that this is an opportunity that is not something that all the dental hygiene programs get, because some of them are not at universities and some of them don't have dental students there. I do believe that there are pros and cons with working with dental students, but I feel like there's more pros than there are cons, given my experience. I think that it was really cool to be able to work with the dental students. Typically, we would get our patients from the dental students. We would have them do our exams. We would report to them when there was something wrong with our patients. So I think it was good to practice interprofessional communication. You will be having to interact with the dentist once you do graduate and become a dental hygienist. So I think this was a good practice experience. And I'm actually grateful that this is something in my program. So now I'm just going to answer a few additional questions that I have been asked. And one big one was, did I work during the program? The answer to that is complicated, but really the answer is no. I worked maybe about once or twice a month, given the time that I had. And luckily I was fortunate enough to have to work at a place where they were flexible with my schedule, and they were supportive of me being in the program. But typically that is not the case being a dental assistant at other offices. But yeah, really just depends on what you feel like you can fit into your schedule. I wanted to focus on my school, so I felt like working was probably going to be too much. Given the schedule that we had all 3 years, I just thought that it was probably going to be impossible. So bonus question. So the top 3 things that I liked about my program. One thing that I did like was that we started doing patient care the 2nd semester of our program, which is not very common for a lot of programs. Usually you start the 2nd year and not the 2nd semester. So I feel like that did help with getting us in early with patient care, clinical experience, learning the routine of being in clinic and things like that. So I think that was great. Next thing I like, as I already previously mentioned, is the rotations. I felt like the rotations was just good for you to get experience in a realistic setting, and I feel like I really did benefit from that, and I got to see a lot more than I actually typically see in the regular clinics. So I think that was good as well. And last thing I also mentioned that I did like is working with the dental students. I do believe that This basically gave me the experience that I needed with working with others, because as a hygienist, although you do procedures by yourself, you will be having to work with the assistant. You will have to work with the dentist, more closely with the dentist. So I feel like it's important to learn how to communicate, how to work with, how to problem solve, and things like that with the dentist. So I think that was great as well.
Sorry guys, I actually forgot to record the cons or things that I think could be improved with the program. So I can list them here so that way you guys can know my opinion on both sides. So the number one thing that I feel like is at the top of the con list here for this program is the grading system. For you guys to know that the grading system typically hasn't changed all through grade school to college. A 90 to 100% is an A, A minus, A plus. Either way you go, it's an A. In our program, it's different. A 94 or above is an A. So if you were to get like a 93%, a 92, a 91, that's a B, B plus. So the problem I have with that is that, you know, if you guys know, I'm sure you do, being students, you know how hard it is to maintain an A through the whole semester. So I feel like when you start getting grades back, you're starting to look like a B average student. For my second con, I would feel like it's the clinic time that we have. Like I said, we are only in clinic 2 times a week. I feel like we could definitely benefit more, or being in clinic more. For an example, at other schools, I think it might have been University of Detroit Mercy, they are in clinic about 3 to 4. They might have to quote me on that, but I know they're in clinic more than we are. I do feel like we could benefit being in clinic more often, because I feel like it would help us stay consistent with our clinical skills and working with patients and things like that. So I would hope that in the future we would get more clinic time. And my last con, or things that I feel like should be improved with the program, would be just some of the policies and rules that they have with the program. For an example, if you don't finish a patient, you won't be able to graduate. Or if, like, you only get 1 excused absence for the whole year, semester. Quote me on that. I really don't know because I'm scared to miss a day. But it happens. I just think some of the smaller or the policies in the program could be either modified, if not changed at all, to a more realistic standard and things like that. So those are my top 3 things to improve on / cons for the program.
So that wraps up my video. I tried to be brief and straight to the point as possible. I know a lot of you may have other questions, more personal questions, or more detailed questions that you may have. I feel free to ask me. I am here to answer all of them. Stay tuned for my next video. I will be making really soon, and subscribe to my channel if you have not already, or if you are new to my channel. I'm really excited for, like I said, the content that I have coming, and you will be excited too. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys the next time.